Hello and welcome to another past paper session. Today's paper is November 23. The variant is 4.2. This is an extended paper 4 that I'm solving. Let's start solving. Question number 1 says it's a transformations question. It says translate triangle T by the vector minus 7, 1. Label the image K. So I'm just going to translate quickly. Let me just work out things here. Yeah. Okay, so let's just translate it by minus 7, 1. So I have to move 7 units to the left and 1 unit up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This comes up here. I can just draw this like that and say that this is 4 units. So it's going to look like this and 2 units up. That should be my triangle after the translation. Label the image K. So let's label that K. Okay, let's erase all of this. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle K onto triangle C. So a backwards reverse would mean that it's still a translation, but the coordinates are now reversed. It's 7 and 1. 7 and minus 1. Reflect the triangle T in the line y equals to 4. Let's draw the line y equals to 4. Let's draw that as a dotted line so that you can see it. Okay, that's y equals to 4. I have to reflect this. So I think this point is going to remain the same. Okay, the other points get reflected. This is 2 units away, so it's going to come up here. This is also 2 units away, so it's going to come up here. And the reflection will look something like this. Okay, should I label this something? Let's label this as part B. Then he says rotate the triangle T 90 degrees clockwise through 0, 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to first mark my center of rotation, and now I'll start counting. So this is 2 and 2. The first point is 2 and 2. Okay, the second point is 6 and 2. And the third point is 6 and 4. Now, whenever you are rotating clockwise, okay, so first what you do is you exchange the coordinates. So this becomes 2, 6, 2, 6, 4, 6. And what you do then is you change the sign of the one at the bottom. Okay, so 2 and minus 2, this point would come here. 2 and minus 6, this point would come up here. And then 4 and minus 6. Yeah. Okay, so this is what your rotation will look like. If this was anti-clockwise, you change the sign of the number at the top after exchanging. Okay, so this is part C. Enlarge triangle T by a scale factor of minus half, center 0, 0. Label the image P. Okay, so again, I will have to measure. Let's take a different color. I hope that's visible on the screen. So again, I have 2, 2. I have 6, 2. And I have 6, 4. What do I need to do now? I need to multiply by a scale factor of minus half. So each of these multiplied by minus half. Give me what? They give me minus 1 and minus 1. Minus half. They give me minus 3 and minus 1. And minus 3 and minus 2. So minus 1 and minus 1 comes up here. Minus 3 and minus 1 comes up here. And minus 3 and minus 2 comes up here. So that would be an enlargement with scale factor minus half. This is part D1. Label the image P. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle P back onto triangle T. So I'm going to say that it's again an enlargement. The center is again 0, 0. What I want to do is now I want to enlarge, so I know that my scale factor is going to be something 2. Is it going to be positive 2 or negative 2? You simply decide by saying that if the center of enlargement is on opposite sides, what you say is that the scale factor should be negative. If it's on the same side, the scale factor is positive. Remember that that's the general rule for the enlargement. Question number 2, it says Daisy records her 50 homework marks. The table shows the results, homework marks, and this, write down the range. So the range is the highest mark minus the lowest mark. So I get 5. Frequency, write down the mode. Write down the mode. So the mode is the most frequent number. So the most frequent number is 17. I think that's simple. Find the median. So median is the middle value, so it's half of n plus 1 th. N is the number of observations, so I'm getting 25.5. So I'm looking for the 25th and the 26th observations. So let's start counting the 25th and 26th observations. How do you count those observations? You start adding a frequency. So that's one observation because these values have already been arranged in ascending order. You can see the ascending order here. So I count out the observations. So one observation plus 3, total of 4 observations, plus 19, a total of 23 observations at this point. Okay, and then a total of 34 observations at this point, which means that the 25th and the 26th would both have been in this category. So they're both 18, so the median is therefore 18. It's 18 plus 18 divided by 2 or so on. Then I'm asking you to calculate the means. It's sum of fx divided by sum of f. So 15 into 1 plus 16 into 3 plus 17 into 19 plus 18 into 11 plus 19 into 10 plus 20 into 6 divided by 50. Let's put that on a calculator and see if we get the correct answer. Uh, 17.88. That is the correct answer. Part B, the list shows Z scores in 11 tests. Complete the stem and leaf diagram to show this information. So I have first in the tens, let's look at if we have any values in the tens. There's 18, so I write 18. And let's start looking in the 20s. There's 120, there's another 20, so 0 and 0. I have to put them out in ascending order. So 3 ones after that, 1 2 after that, 1 5 after that, and then 30s 0, 3 and 4. Okay, so then I have to find the median. The median is middle value, so it's half of 11 plus 1 th. So I get the sixth number. What is the sixth number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth number. So I'm getting 21. Find the interquartile range is the highest value minus the lowest value. That's 34 minus 18. That should be 16. Is that 38? Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. It's not. I just on the range. I have to calculate the interquartile range. So interquartile range is basically 25th, 1/4 of n plus 1 th. So that's third, and 3/4 of n plus 1 th. That's ninth. So 1/4, a third is 1, 2, 3, 20, and ninth is 0, 6, 7th, 8th, and ninth. So 30. So 30 minus 20 gives you 10. Okay. Then question number three says value of Priya's cars decreases by 10% every year. The value today is 7695. Calculate the value of the car after 1 year. So 7695 multiplied by 90%. It's going to fall 10%, so that's 90%. 7695 multiplied by zero point 0.9, that gives me 6925.5. Calculate the value of the car 1 year ago. So 7695 was basically a decrease of 90%, 10% decrease, which means 90% of some other value. So I'm going to say 7 final value divided by the multiplier will give you the original value, 8550. Then we have a question on interest. It says Ali invests $600 at the rate of 2% per year simple interest. Calculate the value of Ali's investments at the end of 5 years. Okay. So simple interest is P or T. So 600, 2%, and 5. That's 60. Okay, what is the value of his investments? It's 600 plus 60. So that's 660. Tara invests 500 at the rate of R% per year compound interest. At the end of 12 years, the value of Tara's investment is 601.35. Correct to the nearest end. Find the value of R. So compound interest can be accommodated in the equation amount at end equals to P into 1 plus R power T. So that's 601.35. P is 500. 1 plus R is unknown. T is 12. Okay. So what I will have to do is I will have to move this to the other side, 500 to the other side, and say that this is 1 plus R power 12. How do I remove a power 12? I take the 12th root. On my calculator, I take the 12th root. Okay. 1.0155 equals to 1 plus R. So R should equal 0.0155. Let's convert this to a percentage. 0.0155 multiplied by 100. That gives you 1.55%. So R is 1.55 because the percentage is already there. Okay, then it says the mass of a radioactive substance decreases exponentially at a rate of 3% each day. Find the overall percentage decrease at the end of 10 days. Okay, so that's interesting. I haven't told you an initial value. I've not told the final value. Whenever you have such a question, what you can do is you can assume that the initial value was, let's say, 100 grams or something. Okay, it decreases at a rate of 3% each day, which means that it's a compounding sort of situation. So I'm going to say 100, 1 plus 1 minus 3% power 10. That's what I'm looking for, the amount at end and the end of 10 days. So 1 minus 0.03 power 10 into 100. So I'm getting what is left over at the end is 73.7. What is the overall percentage decrease? It's the final minus the original divided by the original multiplied by 100. So I'm getting a 26.3%, 26.3% decrease. So you can assume a value if the original values are not given and the final values are also not given to you. When the number of whole days it takes until the mass of the substance is one half of its original amount. So if I assume that it was 100, what I it was principal was 100. I am then asking you when is the amount at end 50. Okay, so 50, let's try to find that out. And I have 1 plus 1 minus 3% power t. So I get 50 divided by 100 equals to 1 minus 0.03 power t. Okay, and that's 0.5 equals to 0.97 power t. Now, on your syllabus, since you don't have logarithms, what you now do is you do a bit of trial and error. Okay, the number of whole days it takes to go beyond zero point 0.5. So you know that at the end of 10 days, you had about 73%, 0.7% remaining. You want to find out when 50% was remaining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my trial and error by picking out a number that's a little far away and say let's say what happens when um, we have 20 days. Okay, but and 20 days gives me 0.544. That's still larger than what I wanted, but it's very close to 50%. So that means that the answer is very close by. So let's try out 0.97 power 21. That gives me 0.527. So I'm again getting very close to the answer. 0.97 power 22 gives me 0.512. 0.97 power 23 gives me 0.496. So at the end of 23 days, I have gone past half of the amount at the start. So I'm going to say that it's 23 days it takes until the mass of its substance is one half of its original amount. So it's something between 22 and 23. I can't point out to you exactly without going into decimals because it says the number of whole days. I'm not asking you for the number of exact days. Okay, then the diagram shows a sector of a circle that is made into a cone by joining OA to OB. The sector angle is x degrees and the radius of the sector is 7.5 centimeters. The base of the cone is 1.5. So calculate the value of x. Whenever you turn a sector into a cone, this turns into the slant height so that you can see 7.5. What is the other relationship? This arc length becomes the circumference of the base. Okay, what is that going to help me do? It's going to help me calculate the value of x. I'm going to say that the arc length is theta over 360 into 2 pi r. But it's also equals to the circumference of the base. So that's also equals to 2 pi into 1.5. Okay, I see pi cancelling out. I see 2 cancelling out. I can just then solve the rest and say that 1.5 times 360 divided by 7.5 should equal x. That's 72 degrees. Part B, the diagram shows a cylinder with radius 8 inside a sphere with radius 17. So this is 8 and this is 17. Also, you should notice that this is also 17 and it comes out handy later on, I think. Okay, because it's coming from the center. Both ends of the surface are touched curved surface area of the sphere, touch the curved surface area of the sphere, show that the height of the cylinder is 30. So I'm asking you for this. So you see why it comes out handy. I can say that 17 square equals to 8 square plus 8 square. Okay, so 17 square minus 8 square gives me 225. So 8 square comes out as 225. H is there for 15. So that's half of the height. So 15 into 2 gives me 30. Okay, there's a height at the bottom as well. It's the height of the cylinder. Okay, calculate the volume of the cylinder as a percentage of the volume of the sphere. So that's volume of cylinder over volume of sphere multiplied by 100. Volume of cylinder is pi r square h. Volume of sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed into 100. Let's check if we get the correct answer. The pi is cancelling out. So 64 into 30 over 4 into 17 cubed divided by 3 multiplied by. So I'm getting 29.31. So 29.3 should be my final answer. Part C, the diagram shows a solid sphere with radius 6 inside a cube with length side length 20. The cube contains water to a depth of 15. The sphere is removed. Um, Calculate the new depth of water in the cube. Okay. So right now the total volume that 15 and the level of the water gives me is 20 by 20 by 15. Okay. But this level is sustained by, just calculate the first, 6,000. This level is sustained by a sphere. So what if you remove the sphere and say that 4 over 3 pi r cubed is removed? The base remains the same, the base of the tank, the height, length of the tank, but the height changes. Okay, so 6,000 minus 4 over 3 pi 6 cubed. Okay, that gives me 5095.22. 400 h divided by 400 gives me 12.7 as my remaining height. Okay. Then in the shop, the cost of a fiction book is $X, and the cost of a reference book is X plus 2. Okay. In a shop, the cost of a fiction book is $X, and the cost of a reference book is X plus 2. The cost of 11 fiction books is the same as the cost of 10 reference books. Find the value of X. Okay. 11 fiction books is the same as the cost of 10 reference books. X equals to 20. I think that's simple. Moving on to the next question. In another shop, the cost of a fiction book is Y and the cost of a reference book is this. Maria spends 95 on fiction books. So how many fiction books did she buy? She bought a total of 95 divided by Y, and reference books were 147 divided by Y plus 2. So she buys a total of 12 books, so 95 over Y plus 147 over Y plus 2 should equal 12. Take a common denominator. 95Y plus 190 plus 147Y equals to 12Y times Y plus 2. 242Y. 12Y square plus 24Y. 12y square 24 minus 242 minus 218y minus 190. So let's take a everything. Let's divide everything by 2 and see if we get the correct answer. Yep, that is the correct answer. It's probably going to ask me to factorize in this case. So that should be a long factorization for me. Um, 6 into 95 is probably a bigger number than I want. So I'm looking for 570. Breaking down 570, so divided by 2. So that's 1 into 570, 2 into 285. What's 570 divided by 3? 570 divided by 3 is 190. No, that's not working out. Let's divide 570 by 4. No, that doesn't work out either. 570 divided by 5. I think that works out. So 5 into 114. So I see that 109 emerging. So I can see that 114y plus 5y minus 95. What's common in the first two is 114 divisible by 6. Yes, that's divisible by 6. So 6y, y minus 19 plus 5, y minus 19. So y minus 19 and 6y plus 5. Find the value of y, so either this equals to 0 or that equals to 0. Obviously, y can be 19. You cannot have a price in the negative, so this is discarded. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 6 says that the diagram shows a right angled triangle. Find the value of w. Okay. So first I'll have to find, it's a longer question. It's a 7-mark question. Okay. First I'll have to find t in order to find w, because I can only use the trigonometric ratios when I have the numbers in front of me. If I don't have the numbers, I cannot use the trigonometric ratio. So 2t plus 3 squared equals to t squared plus 5 squared. So 4t squared plus 12t plus 9 equals to t squared plus 25. So that's 3t squared plus 12t plus 9 minus 25 equals to 0. So 3t squared plus 12t minus 5 and 4 is 16. Yeah. Okay, then I solve this quadratic. Minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. What do I get as t? Solve this. 3, 12 and minus 16. 1.055 and minus 5.055. So obviously it can't be a negative number, so I'm going to take this positive number and say that tan w equals to 1.055 divided by 5. W equals to tan inverse 11.9 degrees. 7. The diagram shows a right angle triangle PQR on horizontal ground. X is vertically above R, and the angle of elevation of X from P is 21. So if I were to draw this right triangle with X, R, and P, this angle would be 21. XR is 2.8, and RQ is 7.1. RQ is not right now, or on my diagram. Find the angle of elevation of X from Q. So now I want the angle of elevation of X from Q. So I'm looking at X from Q. X is still standing on R. I have 7.1 here, I have 2.8 there. Okay, I want to find this angle of elevation, so I'm going to say that tan theta equals to 2.8 divided by 7.1. What's tan inverse of 2.8 divided by 7.1? That gives me 21.5 degrees. 522, so 5 degrees. Then it says calculate PQ. So I want this side. So I'm going to look at this triangle at the bottom. But I just have one side, I have no other angles. But again, I find out PR. Yes, I can first find out PR using this triangle that I have on the right. I can say that tan 21 equals to 2.8 divided by PR. So PR comes out as 7.29. Okay, so I have 7.29, then I can just simply use the 294, let's call that 294 Pythagoras, and say that PQ squared should equal PR squared plus RQ squared. So I have PQ squared 7.294 squared, RQ is 7.1, so 7.1 squared. So 7.294 squared plus 7.1 squared, root of answer, PQ should equal 10.2. 10.179, so 10.2. Then calculate the acute angle KML. KML should be this angle. So I'm going to use the sine rule. Sine 32 divided by 9.1, that's pretty simple. Sine theta over 16.7. So sine theta is 16.7 sine 32 divided by 9.1. So sine theta equals to 0.972, let's call that 5. What's sine inverse of answer? I get 76.529, which is 76.5. Part C, the area of the triangle ABC is this. Show that the angle BAC is 28.4 degrees. Correct to one decimal place. This one. The area of the triangle ABC is 62.89. So I think that's a simple case of the area formula where I use area equals to half AB sine C. Sine of A in this case. Okay, so using my calculator, 62.89 into 2 divided by 21.5 into 12.3. So sine is something 0.47563. Sine inverse of answer gives me 28.4, and that is the correct answer. That's what I had to prove. Calculate BC. So I'm looking for this. So I can simply go on and now use the cosine rule and say that BC squared should equal 21.5 squared into plus 12.3 squared minus 2 into 21.5 into 12.3 into cos of 28.4. Okay, so BC comes out as 12.2. AB is extended to a point D such that angle BDC equals to 90 degrees. Calculate BD. Hmm, 3 marks. Okay. So I can use CD from here, from the bigger triangle, and say that cos, no, sorry, sine 28.4, or I just have to calculate BD. So let's make that simple. Why don't I just calculate AD and then subtract 12.3? So BD is AD minus 12.3. How do I calculate AD? I can say that AD is basically cos of 28.4 equals to AD over 21.5. Okay, so 21.5 cos 28.4 is AD. And then minus 12.3 gives me 6.61. Is that the correct answer? Yes, that is indeed the correct answer. Question number 8, it says the diagram shows two fair dice. Dice A is numbered this, dice A is B is numbered that. Dice A is rolled once, write down the probability that it lands on the number 6. So that's 1 out of 6. Dice A is rolled 150 times. Find the number of times it is expected to land on the number 6. So 150 divided by 6 should give me 25. Yeah. Dice A and dice B are each rolled once. Find the probability that the two numbers that they land on have a total of 6. So let's calculate our possibilities. I could have a 2 and a 4, or a 3 and a 3. Those are the only possibilities that work to get me a total of 6. So what's the probability of getting a 2 on the first die? It's 3 out of 6. What is the probability of getting a 4 on the second die? It's 3 out of 6 again. Plus a 3 on the first die is 1 out of 6. A 3 on the second die is 2 out of 6. So that gives me 9 over 36, 2 over 36, a total of 11 over 36. Find the probability that when the two numbers they land on have a total of 6, both numbers are 3. Okay, so find the probability that when the two numbers they land on have a total of 6. So I fixed that they have to land on a total of 6. Okay, both numbers are 3. What was the probability? That was 9 out of 36. Okay, so both have a 3, sorry, so 2 out of 36. The idea is that this probability basically indicates that there were 36 total outcomes, out of which 11 satisfied your given condition. Your condition. In the second part, what I'm trying to say is that out of those given conditions, what is the probability that, given that they landed on a total of 6, what is the probability that you got two threes? That's 2 out of 36. So that gives me 2 out of 11. Okay, so dice B is rolled n times. The probability that on the nth roll it first lands on a number 3. So it lands on a number 3 how many times? 2 out of 6 times. But it lands on the nth position, which means that it must have failed for n minus 1 times. How many times? 4 out of 6 times it does not land on a 3. Okay, so this probability should equal 32 over 729. Okay, so the next thing then is what you do is you try to solve this. You say that 4 over 6 power n minus 1 equals to 32 over 729 into 6 over 2. Let's see if that helps me solve. 32 into 6 divided by 729 into 2. So 2 over 6 power n minus 1 gives me 32 over 243. Okay, that's 2 power 5 and sorry, that was 2 over 3, right? 2 over 5 and 3 power 5. So I get 2 over 3 power n minus 1. So I can say that 2 power n minus 1 equals to 2 power 5, and it's basically equal. So n minus 1 is basically equals to 5. So n is therefore equals to 6. Okay, so n is 6. Let's verify if that's the correct answer. Yes, that is indeed the correct answer. Let's move on to question number 9. Question number 9 says that the diagram shows a sketch of this. The graph crosses the x-axis of the origin and the y, and at the point A, the point B is a maximum point. Okay. Differentiate this. So I think that's simple. 12x square minus 4x cubed. So that's dy by dx if I really want to write it. So 12x square minus 4x cubed. Find the coordinates of B. So I equate that to 0 to find the coordinates of B. Why? Because maximum points have dy by dx equals to 0. Okay, I can factor out a 4x square. That gives me 3 minus x. So 4x square equals to 0 or 3 minus x equals to 0. So x equals to 3. What's the y coordinate? 4 times 3 cubed minus 3 power 4. So that's 4 times 27 minus 81. 27. I think that should also be the correct answer. Yes, that is the correct answer. Find the gradient of the graph at the point A. So I just have to plug in this point. I don't know this point. Can I find this out first? Can I say that this is when the function is 0. So x cubed 4 minus x equals to 0. So x cubed equals to 0 or 4 minus x equals to 0. X is therefore equals to 4. So find the gradient of the graph. So I'm going to find dy by dx at x equals to 4. So 12, 4 square minus 4, 4 cubed, minus 64. A huge gradient. Question number 10. It says ABCDEF is a rectangle, is a regular hexagon, which means that all the angles must be the same. What will be all the angles? Can I just quickly calculate the sum and then divide by 6? What does that give me? 4 into 180 divided by 6 gives me 120. So each of these angles that I see is 120. Okay, I'm going to mark that here since I see that separately. 120. Complete the following statements using three different triangles. Triangle DEF is congruent to ICDBC. Triangle DFA is equals to DAB. Okay, so I've completed all the triangles because I can see that this is congruent to that and that is congruent to that. P and Q are points on the circle with center O. TP and TQ so are tangents, so they form 90 degrees basically. This side is equals to that side and that is equals to that. In triangles OPT and OQ2, OP equals to OQ because it's the radius of the circle. OT is a common side. Angle OPT is equals to angle OQT because tangents meet radius at 90 degrees. Angles OPT and OQ2 are congruent because I see side, side, and angle using the criterion. Or I can use the RHS here. It's easier because I have a right triangle involved. This proves that tangents TP and TQ are equal. Okay, so G of 3. G of 3 is simple. 4 f of x minus 2. So I replace every x with x minus 2. So 7 minus 3x. F inverse of x. So y equals to 1 minus 3x. 3x equals to 1 minus y. X equals to 1 minus y over 3. So 1 minus x over 3. Gf of x e minus gx into fx equals to this. By the values of a, b, and c. So let's first calculate gf of x. So x की जगह 1 minus 3x minus 1 whole square. So I get minus 3x whole square, which is 9x squared. So I get 9x squared. Gx into fx. What's gx? X minus 1 whole square, 1 minus 3x. And all of this will be identical to 3x cubed plus ax square plus bx plus c. So 9x square minus, let's put a bracket because I have lots of multiplication inside. X square minus 3x cubed plus 2x plus 6x squared plus 1 minus 3x. So a total of 7x squared from inside plus 3x cubed minus and plus 5x and minus 1. So I have 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 5x minus 1. That tells me the coefficient of x squared is 2. So a is 2, b is 5, and c is minus 1. Check if we have the right answers. Yes, we have the right answers. H of x equals minus f of x, giving your answer as a single fraction in its simplest form. H of x was 3 over x and 1 minus 3x. 3 over x minus 1 minus 3x. So take a common denominator, minus you multiply that by x times 1 minus 3x. So I get 3 minus x plus 3x squared over x. So I get 3x squared minus x plus 3 over x. Well, that's the correct answer. I don't know why that was a very specific question. H of x power n equals to 3x power 7. So h of x was 3 over x. H of x power n would be 3 over x power n equals to 3x power 7. 3 and 3 cancel out. So 1 equals to, I can just bring that, it's just, this is 1 over x power n equals to x power 7. So x power minus n should equal x power 7. So n should equal minus 7. Question number 12, O is the origin, this is this, write as column vectors OB. So that's simple. Any coordinate can be written as a column vector. So 2, 5, AB. From A to B, I can either go on and travel from A to B, or I can say that I can travel that this is minus 6 units, and that's plus 4. So that's minus 6 and 4. Or I could have done AO plus OB, whatever the question you might have. Okay. Find the equation of the line AB. So I think that's simple coordinate geometry. First you find out M. You say that 5 minus 1 over 2 minus 8. Then you start to do this. You take one of the coordinates 8 comma 1. Let's take 8 comma 1. And you say that 1 equals to 8 plus C. So C comes out as 1 plus 16 over 3 should give me 19 over 3. So I get minus 2 over 3x plus 19 over 3. Then I want to find the perpendicular bisector of AB, so I need to find the midpoint of AB first. So that's 2 plus 8 divided by 2 and 5 plus 1 divided by 2. I get 5 comma 3. I also want to make the gradient perpendicular, so the gradient of AB was minus 2 over 3, so the gradient for the perpendicular would be 3 over 2. So again, y equals to 3 over 2x plus c. So I use 3 over 2, 5 plus c. C comes out as minus 9 over 2 this time. So I have 3 over 2x minus 9 over 2. Then the line AB meets the y-axis at P. So the equation of the line B was 2 over 3x plus 19 over 3. So the perpendicular bisector meets the y-axis at Q, find the length PQ. For P, I want to meet the y-axis x 0, y is 19 over 3, so P should have the coordinates 0, comma 19 over 3. And the other line also meets the y-axis at minus 9 over 2. I have 0, comma minus 9 over 2. The one point is that this is Q and this is P. I can just add up the distances and say the 9 over 2 plus 19 over 3 to give me whatever answer I am looking for, because it's just a simple vertical line. I don't need to use the distance formula. Okay, that gives me all the questions that I wanted. I will see